Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It's Amy Bennett with the AM Show. So glad to be with you today. I'm going to get right into it today because I'm on tap to get Emma to work today. I've got to help her get her lunch together, her breakfast. She can do it, but I like to go in there and help her. So I got to get her. I got to get her over there and then get to work myself. So this one is going to be a little bit quick, but there was a verse that I ran into in Proverbs today, and it just made me pause and reflect on some things that have happened the past couple years. And what I would say to you because of that today is go for the gold. Go for the gold. And just like, you've heard that phrase in, I believe, like just the Olympics where people say, I'm going for the gold or go for the gold or whatever. And it's just like an athlete is really concentrating and trying to do their best to go for the gold. And so that's what I would say for you today. So let me read where that comes from and why I said that. So Proverbs 17:3, the crucible for silver and the furnace for gold, but the Lord tests the heart. And I actually wrote, I have it underlined and I have it dated 10/17/14. So that was written almost 4 years ago in my Bible. And that's one, some people don't write in their Bible, but I do. I write dates and I write situations, and I don't always do that, but I don't know, I would highly recommend you dating things, and you can look back just like I'm doing this morning to see God's work. And so that was 10/17/14. That would have been just right at 2 months after Jacob came home, and things were not easy. It was not easy. So we had, they talk about the honeymoon time when you adopt, and they come in and things are great, and just like when you get married, everything's perfect, and then things get really hard, and things got really hard for us. And by October, this is when it was just a lot harder than I thought to bring somebody new into our family, and for them to learn how our family worked, and for us to consistently be with somebody brand new and learning who they are and parenting towards not only just a new person, but also a person who has had a hard start in life. And I was tested beyond my limits. Tested beyond my limits. And that verse talks about the crucible for silver and the furnace for gold, and that insinuates that one, you're going to get beat up, and second, it's going to heat up. You're going to get beat up and heated up. And that's the way I felt. I felt like I was getting beat up, and things were getting, things had heated up, and that's just what I felt. And here's what I would say is I felt like that for the next 3 years. 3.5 years probably till the end of last year. And really this year I feel like has been even a little bit of recovery from all of that. And man, if I would have known what I known then what I know now, I had no idea that I would stay in kind of that state for years to come. But this is what I would say about those next 3 years, is that just like the crucible would deform and shape the silver, and the furnace would burn away all the impurities in gold, that's what God has done the past 4 years. And I'm not saying it's all gone, and I'm not saying I'm exactly the way I'm supposed to be, but I am saying, I can say in the last 4 years, and I'm using 4 years because I should look at my calendar, because I think that we met Jacob for the first time like July 15th. It would have been this week 4 years ago, and he came home on August 7th. So we are just about going to our 4-year anniversary. So anyway, I'm just reflecting back and just really feel, as I've talked about coming into turning 40 and in this summer, I really feel as if there is a season that is closing and whatever God was doing in the past 4 years, we're kind of coming to an end of that. Like if you think about, I don't know, if you think about a season of a vineyard or any sort of planting season, it's like you come through a season where things are really hard and things are growing, and then you pick all the vegetables or the fruit off, and then you're starting again. And so that's what I feel like the last 4 years have been. It's like, oh gosh, things got really, really hard, and I've, worked through a lot of things with God and with a counselor and all kind of different therapies and stuff. And so now it just feels like, the heat is letting off. Not that things are a lot different in circumstances, but I'm different. And so I just want to say this morning that is worth it. Go for the gold, because that is what God is producing in you. If you are feeling like you are in the furnace, if you are in a very trying time, that it's worth it, and you can do it, and God is working all things together for good, and He has good plans for you, and it doesn't feel good at the moment, but it is good, and it is doing good. And even things that are done that are evil and bad to us and around us, God can use that for good. He can use it all, and not saying that is what He wants, but He can use it. And so I just wanted to encourage you today to go for the gold, and just be and persevere. I think of Paul. I think it was Paul's words that talk about being an athlete and running your race, and run like you're going for the prize. And so that's what I would just say today, is run like you're going for the prize. Go for the gold, because the work that God is doing in you is worth it. And I can say in this, I've gone through a lot of seasons like this. This is not the only one, but I'm just coming out of this particular season, and I would just say I would do it 1,000,000 times over, because it has led to, for me, it has led to more peace and more joy. Even the hard times, it's led to more peace in my life, in my relationships, and more joy in my life. And I'm stronger for it. I'm stronger for it. And I'm just so thankful this morning, just looking back at that, written almost 4 years ago, and then just to see what God has done in that time frame. So I would say this morning, go for the gold, persevere, and you can do it, whatever God has you going through. And if you're not going through that, and you feel like you're in a season where, it's fruitful, oh man, and this is what I've been doing, it's just praising God for His work, praising God for His work. And if God doesn't have you through that season, you got to get ready. I was just listening to, I think Lisa Turker, she was talking about if you're not in a hard season right now, enjoy it, enjoy the fruit, but another season is coming, and I fully expect that in my life too, is that God is taking us from glory to glory to glory. Like He's always He's always making us more like Christ. And so these seasons are coming. I'm not done. I'll go through another season, but I can say that this season is closing, I believe, and headed into a new season. And it has been, every single season I've gone through like this, been totally worth it. And God is doing work. And I just remember, and I'll just say this, I can remember when I was in my early 20s, and I was talking with one of my mentors. It wasn't an official mentorship, but it's somebody that I really looked up to. And she said, yeah, me and God were working through that thing, and it's always like you work through one thing and then God's got the next thing for you. And I was like, God's doing what? Like, you're working through what? Like, it was just like a weird concept of the fact that there was something to work through, that there was, I don't know, it just astounded me that there were seasons, and there were things that God was working on, and all of this. So like, I can just remember when it was just a foreign concept. So if that's a foreign concept to you, I would just say, yes, God works on you, and it happens in seasons, and you really do find victory in certain areas. You don't find victory in your life, and your whole life is, perfect all of a sudden. You go in seasons, and you go in little things. So I remember going through a season where I really struggled with jealousy, and I went through that season. It was all about repentance, and God showing me how to do that. And that was a season where God really worked with jealousy, and God's really worked through fear, and at different levels we worked through fear. And this past season, I would say it was a lot of anger, and so we worked through that. And I didn't even know I could have an anger problem until 4 years ago. So these things come in your life. You may say, well, I don't know what I would have to work on. Well, you might be put in a circumstance. You might be put in the crucible. You might be put in the furnace where you figure out what needs purified and coming out of there. So anyway, I'm gonna I'm getting down into my rabbit hole, but I would just say go for the gold again. Go for the gold, because God is doing good work. So let me just quickly say good morning, Stephanie and Molly, Darian, Christina, and Sherry. Good morning, guys. Happy Friday. Just so thankful for you guys. Thanks for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'm gonna get Emma here off to work and get to work myself. So you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you back Monday. Bye.